Hey everybody, I want to take a minute and talk about my 1930 Model A project that I've been working on here lately. You guys remember back when I bought the other one and pulled it out of that garage down in Lake Jackson and brought it over to the house and then took it over to storage? Well, I wound up selling that car. I turned around, listed it back on Craigslist and I believe OfferUp and a marketplace here, and then sold the car for, you know, double what I paid for it, because I already had this car at the same time and I wasn't really going to work on two different cars. This car here particularly is a more of a hot rod rat rod build. I'm not going for the rat rod look because I'm not too crazy about doing rusty and nasty looking, but I'm going for the low and slung type of look. So it is ride height's pretty low to the ground. It's got some wider tires in the back, skinnies up front, as you can see, running a 32 grill. It is chopped 3 inches. It is sectioned 3 inches in the body. It's got a full custom frame that's Z'd up front, Z'd in the rear too. So it's got quite a lot of things done to it to make this car ride really low. So that's kind of what I was after, and I wasn't really after that full fendered street rod look the other car had. And of course I could have done all the rest with that other stuff too, but I was already on this and had the project going, so I might as well just continue on. So far that I've brought the car out of storage and brought it here to the house and started working on it slowly, putting in some nights after work and after doing some of the other house stuff we've been doing, and just kind of getting the car progressed on more and more. As you can see here, I built the motor mounts. Just took some regular flat steel and cut a triangle, cut some more flat steel, and just made some angle brackets. And then ordered these round engine mounts from Speedway and put those all together. So got that done, got the motor dialed in the car, got it all leveled. Same thing with the transmission cross member. The transmission cross member was already in the car, but it was set up for a completely different motor at the time, so I put it back into where I had it for this TH350 that I'm running. Got that set in there, got all that was square one. Motors in there. Second of all was starting to get the floor in the car ready to go. So my daughter and I, we welded up the 2 side rails on the bottom of the floor so we could start the bases, and then I went ahead and then started adding all the cross braces, adding the notches, adding a few other things here and there. I do need to weld in this last rear notch and the middle notch here, but I got the first one in the front right by the trans. Got a couple other ones that need to, those other 2 need to be welded in as well too. And then kind of have to, I've been debating a lot on this rear suspension. As you can see here, I'm not happy with the way it was done. I did buy this car already with the frame already built. This guy already had an idea of what he wanted to do. I just don't understand why he was using the half-cut leaf springs and the axle the way he was. It just didn't, how to suspend it from the frame via coilovers or coils or airbags or something, just it didn't make any sense to me how he was doing it or what his thought process was. So I was thinking about changing it by moving the inner rails to the outside as they are now to where they're supposed to be, to kind of go along the body line. But I've kind of decided that I'm just going to go ahead and just run a regular 2-link suspension, kind of like a 2-link bar as you would see like a Bag S10, a Bag C10 or something like that. You know, Extensive does those 2-link bars all the time. So I'm thinking about running that. I'm going to run that and then either inbound the coilovers straight up and down on the inside, or run them off the link bars and then run them at an angle to the frame. And then just run it like that, see how it goes. I think you'd ride pretty well. You know, the whole theory is to keep everything, you know, as wide as possible. The notch may be insetted on the inside, but the points for the axle and for the attachments to the frame are still on the outside. So that's still going to give me that stability, and as long as I keep my coilovers pretty wide or straight up and down, they should ride well as two. And then I'll just have a small panhard bar just kind of connecting everything. Also, the rest of the thing is to get it, for some reason he put the body mounts on the notch. I'm going to move this particular body mount all the way to the end and towards the back of the car. That's going to be the last mount. So it's got the same truck style puck mounts in the front of the car, and then it's going to be at the rear of the car, and then in between on the cross rails that I've welded in, I'm going to use some energy suspension bushings, and I'm going to weld up some more body mounts there instead to give the body more support that way. And I'm just going to run the frame as it is, see how it goes. If worse comes to worse and it just rides like shit and I've got to redo it, then I've got to redo it. But I'd rather just kind of run with it now. It's be quicker and easier for me to get the car on the road. I already have the 2-link bar material left over from another project that's just going to be, I think, right at the right length for everything. So I'm going to just run those and call it a day. I just wanted to bring you guys along on this journey here. My daughter and I are just been working along getting some of the floor. This actually center section of this floor came with the car, but it just kind of was thrown in there. So we went through and we re-welded the 1x3 tubing on the floor to kind of give it a good support. And we're gonna have half of the transitional done, and just got to connect it from here to the firewall, and then we've got to go down with the relief for the axle and the notch. Excuse me, for the drive shaft, with those notches coming back through those crossbars, and that will have everything there. Then we can continue on with the rest of the floor, do the back firewall, figure out how we're going to mount our fuel cell and the rest of that stuff too. So as we go on, this is the start of a new project. I'll keep you guys updated as much as possible as far as what we do, what we get done, and how we go. There's kind of a few visions that I have for this car, and I'll show those pictures now. As you can see here, I'm just looking for kind of like a nice, clean, low, hot rod. I'm not looking for anything too old school, not a street rod or anything like that. Yes, I will eventually paint the car. I don't know if I'm going to paint it an actual, gloss color or go with some, cool hot rod flats or something a little bit different. But it will have painted, it will have body work. But my main stage right now is to get the motor trans in the car, get the floor done, get the suspension all dialed in, and get it running, get brakes and get it running, and then try to just kind of cruise it around from there and see. And then from there I can blow it back all apart and go ahead and paint the frame, paint the body, do the body work. It does need some body work here and there, as you can see, but that's kind of my thought process on getting this car started. So thank you guys for following along. It's a new project for me now. I'm just I've had this car for a while, just kind of getting back into it now and getting it off the back burner and starting to get it rolling on its own power here pretty soon. So from now on, the video series that we kind of we've got a few things to do left with the Impala. I got a few other things to kind of get it really tip-top running like it should be, and then we're going to continue progressing on with this car. So I thank you guys for following along. So please like and subscribe if you want to see more and more fabrication and things like that that's put in. Making new videos on different parts that we're making and updates on this car from now on. Thank you very much for watching.